In this video, I'm going to share my experience attending the Aspire Tour here in Santa Clara, California on January 11, 2024. I'll tell you exactly what to expect based on what I observed so that by the end of this video, you'll be able to know whether it will be worth it for you. Let's get started. This event had a very early start time of 7 a.m. And to be honest, I didn't think anybody would show up that early, so I strolled in at about 9 a.m. But by the time I arrived, everyone else was already there. The staff gave me my badge, and then I scanned the QR code on my badge to see this schedule right here. I believe guest speaker number 1 may have been Tim Storey, but I'm not totally sure. I arrived during guest speaker number 2, which was Molly Bloom, author of Molly's Game. After Molly was presenter number 1, and it was a sales presentation. Now, I did see some people on Reddit complaining that this entire event was just one big sales pitch, and that's not true. This event had 2 upsells. I actually purchased the second one and was very satisfied with it. That was presenter number 2, and I'll get to that later. But as for presenter number 1, that was Andrew Cordle. Now, while Andrew has some impressive credentials, apparently he's one of the owners of the whole Aspire thing and has a real estate portfolio of over $500 million, he didn't really teach much. His presentation was very relatable and at times funny, but after an hour and 45 minutes, I barely had any notes in my notebook. He kept saying that he was going to tell us about the top 5 tax-free accounts, and so everyone would pull out their notebooks and get their pens ready. But then he would keep talking for 30 minutes, telling stories like he's on a Netflix stand-up comedy series. Eventually, he did reveal his list of the 5 tax-free accounts, but didn't go into detail about them. Instead, he was offering a 3-day masterclass called Money Is for $199. Now, this one I did not purchase, mainly because I thought that the 5 accounts I could pretty much learn about by Googling. But looking back now, 3 months later, I really would have bought this, and I'll explain why a little later. After Andrew, there was some entertainment in the form of a singer, followed by a panel, and then lunch. I know the schedule says lunch with speakers here, but I'm thinking that was mainly for the VIP ticket holders, and I was not one of them. There's really 3 lunch options. First, inside the convention center, they were selling a la carte sandwiches and fruit. Second, you can bring your lunch and eat in your car like I did. Or third, and I think this may be the best option, you use the morning to network, meet someone cool, and then go to lunch at a nearby restaurant. One reason for this is that the big name speakers are all in the afternoon, starting with guest speaker number 3, who in this case was Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank. I know the photo is not the most impressive, but that's because I was sitting way in the back of the room. But wow, what a great presentation. After Robert was presenter number 2, and this was the second of the 2 upsells. And this presenter was Cole Hatter. He's a real estate expert, and I was familiar with him. I had already seen him at a recent Beverly Hills seminar in this photo that you see here. Cole is great, and whether he's selling or not, every time he's on stage, I end up with pages and pages full of notes. He's so detailed. He'll talk about, oh, I bought this duplex in Ohio for this much money, then I invested this much money in renovations, and then I sold it for this much, and then it started renting out for this much money. So much value. Well, at the end of the presentation, he said he would be back a month later for a 3-day real estate masterclass called Level Up. He was charging $297, and I was in. He said he would be talking about rehabbing, fixing and flipping, which he did, wholesaling, which we did, buy and hold, a little bit, multifamily, which was covered a little bit. I think Eddie Wilson, who is one of the other owners of Aspire, he did a great presentation on an apartment investment that he was working on. Creative financing, we definitely talked about that. Entity structure and asset protection. Yes, that was actually one of the most exciting parts. Cole talked about how his LLCs are structured and the trusts and everything like that. Raising private money and hard money, deal underwriting. Yes, we touched on all of those. Commercial real estate, a little bit. Building a team, leveraging AI technology, and self-directed RPs. I think that's retirement plans. And here's what that event looked like. Now, it was here that I talked to people who had attended the first of the two upsells, the Money Is seminar, about the tax-free accounts. And you know, it kind of sounded worthwhile. And even though these are 3-day events, so you have to take off work that Friday, the benefit is that they're in your own city, and so you likely don't need to pay any airfare or hotel costs. So anyways, back to the Aspire event. So I decided to purchase that ticket. Again, it was definitely worth it. I used Apple Pay, and the payment portals worked just fine. The staff were really cool, really well organized. In fact, my Apple notification said that I had purchased the Money Is seminar, and so I went up to the staff and I said, hey, I was trying to purchase the real estate one. Is this the right one? And the staff was super attentive. She looked into it right away and assured me that I did purchase the right ticket. It was just displaying as a Money Is purchase rather than the Level Up. The other detail I need to add is that if you bought both of the upsells, both seminars, then you got both of them for $199 each, instead of $199 for the first one and $297 for the second one. So after Cole Hatter was guest speaker number 4, Joe Montana. Again, big name speaker. In actuality, I missed most of his speech because I was busy networking. Maybe presenter 3 and 4 are better times to do some networking. I believe presenter 3 was Jeff Fenster, CEO of Everbowl, and presenter 4, I'm not quite sure. Now at this point, I left the venue because I had to jump on a coaching call, but I sort of regret this because guest speaker number 5 was the biggest name of the event, Gary Vaynerchuk, and I heard very good things about his presentation. I'm not quite sure who the other speakers were, but apparently the event went all the way until 7, which makes it a 12-hour event. Pretty intense. Now, was it worth it? I mean, get this. I paid about $34 for my ticket. It was some sort of 50% off holiday promotion on like a Facebook or Instagram ad. But for that little money, I mean, just one of the big name speakers was worth it for that amount. You can certainly spend more to get the VIP or Diamond experience, and actually they did have an entirely separate room for the VIPs. And it might be worth it, I'm not sure. But given that I spent money on one of the upsells, I'm pretty happy with my purchase of the $34 ticket. But how about you? If you decide to attend this, put in the comments whether you think it was worth it for you. Thank you all for watching. Think deeply and put your existence first.